EL and how everything has been going on so far. Of course, bear in mind that I was just joking earlier on with Arocho here that, you know, sometimes because of how things have been in KPL, you have to kind of wake up and Google to see
what happened.
What happened. Maybe Nick Mwendwa came back or not. You really have to be careful to see what's going on. But the caretaker committee, bado iko, as we say, iko ndikni, iko pale. It's trying to see what happens. Remember, the time is still ticking. That's a story also for another day, because they're supposed to tell us the way forward and what's going to happen. So that being that. But what do you think about what happened in the KPL over the weekend? Of course, homeboys doing the thing moving forward.
I think they have tried to manage the KPL back smoothly very well, because we've seen several matches being played in different tiers, Kenya Premier League, Women Premier League, in nationwide league. So I think I will give them an 80.
So far.
So far, or 75-80. Let me give them 75-80.
Very generous.
No, it's generous because we all saw the direction that football was taking in this country, and we called out the federation that you are not taking football the right direction. Ambassador Mina Mohammed, Sports CS, had it and did her thing, and this is where we are. And so far, I can say that the caretaker committee is doing a good job. Let them keep on doing what they are doing. KPL clubs are struggling because of the football mess that we have been put into. We don't have sponsors. We don't have the color of football that we used to have. You remember Gor Mahia against FC Leopards
from in the morning, there could be traffic.
Was a big thing. So
yes,
we really need to bring back the marketing strategy into the KPL. I think that is one thing that the caretaker committee can borrow. Let us market the Kenya Premier League as much as possible so that we can bring fans back to the stadium. I'm happy with the rate at which the Ministry of Health is moving with vaccination. So many people, Kenyans, have been vaccinated. So we can bring that sporting life back to normalcy. Vihiga Bullets, I think they picked up their first win.
4-2 against Wazito.
They have been wamekuwa volunteers in the Premier League, dishing out points. But I think for the first time, wamepiga Wazito, coached by Francis Kimanzi, a coach of repute. I think that was a well-deserved win, 4-2. I wish they will pick up the momentum and at least get some few points, lest they follow their brothers, Vihiga United. I think the next 6 months that the caretaker committee has been given will be crucial, as you said. They really need to give us a roadmap, because there need to be we need to have an election that will guide our football back on track, because as it is now, we don't have a national team coach. KPL clubs are struggling. So we really need a lot from the caretaker committee. I have not heard them speaking. I've not heard them. Have they really addressed a press conference, even a single one, to tell us what they are planning? So plans, they really need to give us this plan, so that we don't
roadmap, so to speak. Yeah,
the roadmap, so that we don't again be thrown into confusion that we were in. Communication is very critical. Tell us this is what we have laid out, this is what we have achieved so far, and this is what we want to achieve. Right. Communication, and for your information, it's a team that is led by communicators. So
who has taken a break?
I think they really need to give us the direction. They are doing well so far.
Yes.
Congratulations to them, because so many people criticized their appointment, but I really said that let us give them time.
That's what I'm going to say, because I don't know the measurement of doing well so far yet, because I think there's so many critical things that need to be put in place, and then we can then judge them. But anyway, be that as may, some of the other results, we have AFC Leopards pulled a draw against Nzoia
Sugar.
You said we have them?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Right. I can't see them, but all right, I'll try to use the one. Posta Rangers won. Tusker. Arocho's team was
fried.
The bankers were oiled by Bidco United.
That's why Arocho is silent.
My time has not come.
And the Venezuela, you can see that there. So just maybe walk us through.
Basically, Rangers picked 1-0 win over Tusker. You know, Tusker is one of the teams that have been tipped to retain the gong, but things are not really going well for them. Bandari Police, barren draw at Baraki. There's a lot of interesting banter on social media via the communications officers of the respective
They are doing a good job.
Which I think I like.
It's good,
we need to see more of that hype. Talanta won, they were at home. City Stars, these are teams that's really doing well, by the way. When they changed coach last time with Muyoti coming on board, I feared the ship could be a little bit shaky. But I think right now they're third on the log, behind Homeboys and KCB. Pretty good. Then Kariobangi Sharks lost at home, 0. Homeboys won. Homeboys actually had not suffered a defeat until last weekend. So I think from the log, Homeboys have suffered just 1 defeat. This is a team again that changed coaches. Exit Muyoti and in came Bernard Mwalala. Mwalala was at the Daukas Bandari. And probably the transition. Remember, he worked with Muyoti for a couple of weeks before Muyoti left, and basically knows the players. And again, 80% of the playing unit of Homeboys have been there. So basically, they can go have a good run.
All right. So, of course...
Can they win?
Winning the title, why not? It's not a prognosis that is way off, because look at it this way. The team that should actually challenge for this title or retain it, Tusker struggling, Goma here, another mayhem, by the way. I'm not sure if Coach Mark has returned as at now. 2, everybody wants out. Benson Omala, whom they thought could now be their lead striker, and all the key players there wants out. Because why? Of the financial issues we are talking about. And if Ibra can have that letter up, last week, that's Jan 2nd, Mathare United, through their chairman, Bob Munro, wrote a very detailed letter to the secretariat. Shtera has been praising and doing a good job. And he's saying, the situation is dire. The KPL gonna collapse. The top tier teams gonna collapse. The ends can't meet. There is no money, actually. Remember when the government took over the management and gave it to the caretaker committee, you remember the pay TV, the Star Times pulling out. That's the broadcast sponsor.
The title sponsor.
The title sponsor is out. Actually, they had pulled out. Now the broadcast sponsors have pulled out. Those lower tier leagues that were getting sponsorship from gaming firms have all pulled out. And you can see what Bob Munro is saying there. Very weighty statement. First point, clubs' financial problems are due to series of escalating external crises. One of them, COVID. 2, as of today, that was Jan 2nd, only 9 of the 18 teams are presently stable financially. The 9 clubs who are stable now owe players 2 to 3 months salary arrears. And those that are
the stable ones.
Yeah, he's saying basically these are corporate or institutional clubs such as Bandari
I beg to.
who are under KPA.
Yes.
So if whatever Munro is raising there, that's not new to me. But the question is now, and I know that's what Arocho is heading to.
Yes.
Why is now these clubs are crying foul? Yet for ages they knew they should have put in place structures
but at least
they run seamlessly without the government support.
At least they have the freedom to communicate.
I think we are missing the point here. First of all, the caretaker committee had a mandate.
Correct.
They had a 4-5 point mandate, and I think they really need to stick to their mandate. I don't think the mandate of the caretaker committee was to source for funds.
Or was to fund.
Yes, was to fund clubs. You know, for you to have a club, you must know how you're going to fund your club. And that's why we had that FIFA brought in, it was called what? The way, how you're going to finance.
It's called CAF Club Licensing Rules.
Yes, CAF Club Licensing Rules. But there are two things that I want to highlight here as positives from the caretaker committee. For the first time, ladies and gentlemen, the Women Premier League teams are receiving money. For the very first time.
Not 350,000.
They are going to receive 300,000 every month.
Not
something that they were receiving for the entire year.
For winning.
Yes, for winning. As for winning.
For winning.
Yes. Thank you very much. So I'm so glad that our ladies at least are having something. Ambassador Amina, thank you very much, and the team. At least for our ladies are being recognized. Two, the teams that are playing in the Division 2, that is the fourth tier. Ladies and gentlemen, another success. There's no paying affiliation fee. You are paying 41,000 every year for affiliation fee for teams that don't even have a playing ground. These are teams that were just making sure that they are putting themselves together. Two, there is no paying referees. When you pay referees as a home team, in one way or the other, the referees can be compromised. I'm so happy that the teams that are playing in the Division 2 are not going to pay referees anymore, at least for now. But the bottom line for me is, as Shiteria said earlier, the roadmap.
Yes. And
I'm telling you this for free. The caretaker committee has already done 2 months, 3 weeks. This is their third week.
Third month, rather.
This is the third week into the second month. I'm not seeing them doing all this within the stipulated
6 months
for the 6 months.
So they might request for an extension?
Yes, I'm seeing two things. One, there'll be an extension, and two, I'm seeing a normalization committee, because things cannot work without FIFA. For FIFA to come in, there must be something called a normalization committee. And for the normalization, the government will give names, FIFA will give names, then they'll have a group that will run football in this country. Because I'm not seeing us surviving for long without FIFA. The ladies...
or surviving at all.
Yes, the ladies national team is supposed to be playing Uganda for the AFCON, for the ladies continental showcase. And FIFA will be needed there. As we proceed forward, we definitely will need the guidance of FIFA. So I'm seeing an extension and ultimately a normalization committee coming in to save the face. The roadmap for the election might not really come this year. For me, I'm not seeing election this year. Why? First of all, this constitution, I'm seeing an overhaul of this constitution. And the committee will have to move all over the country to get views. For example, we are having a constitution that says that a percentage of the national cake is divided among the 47 counties. I believe that even in football, that needs to be done. When the national office or wherever receives money, there should be a regulation that says that this percentage will go to Busia, this percentage will go to Bungoma, will go to Homa Bay, will go to Voi. Why am I talking about this? The people who are running the game might not be friendly to, let's say, someone in Bungoma. But because football is being played there, they are entitled to receive their share. I'm seeing an overhaul of what we are currently having, and that will not take a short time. I'm not seeing election this year. Sorry for the guys who wanted to vie, but I'm seeing election. If it's going to come, it might come mid-2023.
I also see a difficulty because look at it this way: we are having it's an election year in Kenya,
right?
So I also see a possibility of moving it to next year. So. To me, of course, a normalization committee will work because as it is now, the caretaker committee has given, has changed the environment. We are breathing fresh air in football because, as Suila said, some people can write letters now. You remember when Gor Mahia and the AFC Leopards, the biggest team in Kenya, wrote a letter of complaint. What happened? They were fined.
They were fined.
Gor Mahia chairman Rachier was suspended. The same Mathare United and when they complained about the sponsorship.
Actually, that's right.
Yeah, so I think
my take home, Shitera, from this letter by Bob Monroe, which is a good thing. Let's not forget that the financial situation is dire, even prior to the committee coming over. And I agree with Rocho. Is not part of their mandate to source for funds. However, now that Amina basically has taken over the running of the sport, which is government, what they need to do within this transitional period, ensure these clubs don't collapse, right? By pumping in some funds to keep the league going. 2, remember, after every season's leagues world over are audited by FIFA, and that it also accounts for the rankings. So we need to get that over the line. 2, now, once we've put in place whether it will be a normalization committee, whatever FIFA and the government will agree on, now the government must now make it a policy, clean the rot. Let's not have clubs with the begging bowls every now and again. Put in place policy direction, the timelines of implementing it, and ensure it is followed to the latent spirit. That's the only way that's going to cure this madness we're having here. But if we don't do that, I'm sorry, we'll just be scratching the surface. 5 years we won't be here probably, but the guys who will take over from us will still be discussing the same issues we're talking about today.
And it's actually very unfortunate because we're not willing to wait that long.
Yeah,
we'll continue applying.
We have to move.
We'll continue applying pressure. But
probably my point, the marketing aspect is critical. Yes. Look at how EPL has been marketed. And that's what I'm saying. The caretaker committee might not have the money to give clubs, but let them put up a strategy, a marketing strategy that will market our KPL. We have good players, unlike some sentiments that came up that we don't have talent in Kenya. I think we have good players. That's why we've produced the Marigas, the Wanyamas, the Olungas. Well, given a proper field, given a proper ground, and all this we are producing minus good stadiums that are in Cameroon. So you can imagine if you had the infrastructure and the environment.
It's quite unfortunate that the entire Africa, half of Africa is in Cameroon, and Kenya is not there. Yes, because when you look at 24 out of 48 plus, 50,
yeah.
Yes, it's half of the continent. I think we need also to look at our preparation. I normally say it on this show that soccer is not an event. Soccer is a process. You have to prepare. Currently, what we are doing is we get players by default. Michael Olunga comes from wherever he comes from in Babadogo, and he's a star. We need to design players. Look at what Germans did after they lost in the European when they were playing at home. They performed so badly that the government had to invest in the infrastructure. What the Germans did in a span of 12 years, they had about 2,000 players who were picked from the age of 13. And 7 years later, Godse scored a goal in the World Cup. It must be designed. You don't wake up and find Victor Wanyama.
And call someone from Ruaraka.
Yes, and you have to design.
Come, we are going for...
We have to design these players. We don't just wake up and find by an...
and then leave the coaching job to the coach.
To the coaches, yes.
And the speaking job to Arocho, Shitera, and you know, everybody has to do his job. Yeah. You cannot do everything.
Yes. That's why you keep waking up to Google.